Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. Today we are looking into 5 more tools and techniques from the estimate costs process. Now, these are the ones that we have already covered. So you've got analogous estimation, parametric estimation, 3-point estimates, which are the PERT method, reserve analysis, which contains both contingency reserve and management reserve, and top-down estimating and bottom-up estimating. So these are the tools and techniques from this process that we have already covered. And there are 5 more that we are taking up as part of this video. Now, before we move ahead, if you would want to read an article on this rather than watch a video, the remaining 5 tools and techniques of estimate cost process, that is, if you want to read an article, first link in the description is going to take you to that article over our website pmclounge.com. Again, I will also be linking to all these videos, all the entire playlist of estimation techniques in the description as well. And I'll also share a link to the entire playlist of every single video that we have done on the cost management knowledge area. So important, 3 very important links in the description. Do check them out and let's move ahead. Start off with the first one, which is project management software. So project management software, this is pretty straightforward, right? It is just a software. It is a software for project management. It could be as simple as a spreadsheet. So you may have a spreadsheet software, and what it does is basically it is going to take inputs. In inputs, it is going to take resource estimates, which you have already created. Then you will also enter labor and material costs. And based on these inputs that you have given it, this spreadsheet is going to perform certain calculations and it is going to provide the activity cost estimates. So activity cost estimates is actually the output of the estimate costs process. Second is vendor bid analysis. Now, there are projects that require you to select and work with an external vendor. So you may have to select a vendor first and then you'll have to work with that vendor. So the entire procedure of how you select a vendor, that the external contractor, that is vendor bid analysis. So you will invite bids from the vendors and those vendors are going to provide bids. You're going to perform analysis of those bids, and once you're done with the vetting of the different bids, you can assign the the contract to an external contractor and that contractor becomes your vendor. So that is how vendor bid analysis works. Most of the times, a lot of contracts are given based just on the cost. Whichever vendor, whichever contractor is performing the project in the cheapest, cheapest cost, they are given the contract. Although it is not really an efficient way of assigning the contracts, but then that is also a reality. Before moving further, I'd like to remind you, you can head over to pmclounge.com/resources if you're looking for PMP book recommendations. Now, the third tool is cost of quality. What do we mean by cost of quality? So, several activities in your project are performed just to maintain the quality of the project. The quality of the project. And what are we talking about here? So, it is always cheaper to find bugs earlier in the project than later. So let's talk about our software projects. If you are able to find bugs earlier in your software, let's say you have a code freeze date and you're able to find bugs before the code freeze date with the unit test that your developers perform, if you're able to find bugs there, nothing like it. After your code freeze, you may have a testing cycle. Let's say you do that testing cycle. Within those, when you're performing that testing cycle, when you're executing the testing cycle, you find a lot of bugs. Those are also fixed. What are we doing here is you are performing activities to find bugs early, because when you're able to find bugs at this stage in your project, you will ship a product which is of good quality, and you will ship a product wherein the bugs will not be found by the customer but by yourself. And the cost of these activities is the cost of quality, the cost of testing, the cost of unit testing, the system test cycle, all that is the cost of quality. So here's a casual definition of the cost of quality: the money it takes to do the project right. The money it takes to do the project right. Finding all the bugs as early as possible and shipping a product of high quality. That whatever that you need to do to ship the product of high quality, to ship the project right, that money is the cost of quality. So group decision making techniques is actually nothing new. We have already covered this in the past, but this is where you will work with a group of people, you will work with your project team, and you will figure out the cost. So you're making use of the group decision making techniques in estimate costs process, although this technique can be used in several other processes as well and is actually used in several other processes. But for estimate costs, when you are estimating costs as a group, estimating cost of the project as a group, that is group decision making that you are basically employing as part of your project. The other good thing about group decision making technique is that the project team gets the sense of ownership. They tend to feel that they are responsible for a certain budget of the project or the certain schedule of the project, because it was them who were involved while creating the budget and creating the schedule of the project. So if a developer tells you that X will be the cost for his or her activity and Y is the amount of time that is required to perform his or her activity, then they will feel more accountable to the budget and the time that they have given to you. So that is why group decision making technique is a very important technique, specifically in terms of cost and schedule of the project. Again, reserve analysis, the fifth and final tool and technique of the estimate cost process, is something that we have already discussed. And it basically means, reserve analysis basically means keeping some money aside just in case your project needs it. And how much money do you need to keep aside is where the analysis comes into the picture. We have already discussed that there are two parts of reserve analysis. You've got management reserve and contingency reserve. Management reserve typically in the industry is anywhere between 5 to 10% of your project budget, and contingency reserve is based on the risks, the identified risks that the project manager has identified or the project team has identified, and based on those risks, the amount of money required which should be kept aside just in case those risks materialize is all about reserve analysis. That is how you analyze the cost reserve that you need for your project. So that's all that we had in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Do hit the like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you receive a notification whenever we upload a new video. And don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP resource. On our YouTube channel, we have 400 videos on project management and a similar number of articles on our website pmclounge.com. So don't forget to check them out. Thank you and have a nice day.